do we become curious questioners and communicate our message well? Okay, let's explore this one. Follow me. Hi, I'm Jen Joseph, here to release your confidence. So, the curious questioner, being able to ask questions during communicating a message, is key to ensuring that we understand to what extent the recipient of that message has actually received it or resisted the message. Now, why is that important? Well, obviously, if we're communicating something, it's because we want something to happen. We want change to take place, or we want something to happen differently to what's going on. Either the person to change their mindset, their paradigm, or to help us to achieve something else. So, curious questioning is a form of questioning that will use both open and closed questions. And the way we do it is key to the engagement that we are desiring through our communication. Let me use my experience. Now, have you ever been in a church where the speaker has got the crowd so engaged with them that they can pose a question and without a moment's hesitation, everybody goes, yes, or amen? What's happened? Well, what has really happened is that the speaker has got everybody to the point that they're literally pulling out of him the next phrase, the next bit of the communication, because they are so engaged. And he or she has got them to the point where they're ready and willing to receive more. So at certain points, they're able to pose questions, one, because they're keen to get that feedback, and two, because they're keen to know to what extent is my audience engaged with me. Let me say something first of all. Just because people respond automatically does not mean that they have understood what you're saying, because the mass mind can also be taken over at some point, which is not a bad thing if they're moving in the direction that you want. But here, the curious questioner, in terms of the communication, is able to gauge the level of reception to the message and then control that, so that if there is still resistance, that resistance can be addressed and reduced down to its lowest common denominator. Everybody is going to have something that they're concerned about, because no communication is ever going to remove the issues of uncertainty and insecurity, particularly in a time of massive change. But this is where this particular skill is most important. When you have got big changes going on, the one thing you do not need is resistance. The thing you do need is commitment. Even if people recognize that their roles are at risk, they're still committed. Why? Because you are demonstrating through your questioning that you're concerned to find out what their opinions are. But the curious questioner knows how to coach the audience to question certain things and to not touch other things. And this is key, because we need people to question the things that are most important to the delivery or the uptake of the message, not to the things that are going to create the discomfort. Those things we want to address in a one-to-one situation. This is why it's so useful to become a curious questioner, because we know that in the groups that we're talking to, there's going to be one person there who's going to be a troublemaker. And that person, we need to keep them as docile as possible. Yeah, I said it. So, how does this thing show up? You coach, they question. You speak, they listen. They respond, they follow. What ultimately happens is that we see a demonstration of people's perception. And in that, we can alter the perception, to move in the direction that we need the group to move. Take, for example, a comedian. A comedian will be on stage and there's one heckler. What does the comedian do? Well, he could hang his head and walk off stage, or he could use the heckler to good effect, to move the audience from siding with the heckler to say that, boo, get off, you're no good, to siding with you to say, oh, come on, man, shut down now, shut down. This guy's pretty good. This is what we're doing. The best example I've seen of that recently was, or is, I should say, Trevor Noah, the comedian from South Africa. He has a way of communicating so well. One of the things he does is that he doesn't stop moving. He's not a still target. He keeps moving. So he's keeping the audience with him. And they're moving. I mean, if you've ever watched any of his comedy, his audience is literally moving with him because he moves up and down the stage. And he uses the pregnant pause to good effect. He'll pose a question and then he'll stop. Now the audience has got to think about what he has said. And then, with rapid fire, he'll coach the audience to his perspective. This is a skill that just doesn't come from technical training. It comes from being aware internally of where you are with your message and what you are trying to achieve. I hope you found this video useful. And it would be very useful for you to go back into a state of reflection and start to record some of your thoughts in your diary or in your journal on how you have used questioning in previous communications to bring your audience along with you. This is Jen Joseph, here to release your confidence. Bye for now.